You're listening to a Comics XF podcast.
X-Men. Get it!
Hey everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Battle of the Atom. This is your weekly X-Men podcast where we rate every story from A to Z.
I'm Adam.
And I am Zach. And Adam, I have a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
Do you know for whom the bell tolls? The wedding bell tolls?
Well, you might be referring to the fact that
it tolls for thee. It tolls for thee.
It tolls for thee? Yes.
It tolls for thee.
Tolls
thee
for
specifically.
Me. Tolls for me.
Yes, I'm pointing, but we won't do video on this podcast.
No.
So no one can see that.
No, I'm not pivoting to video because then that's not a podcast. But
it's great.
Yeah, we weren't
Graham likes.
we weren't around last week, specifically because many people, I think people know who listens to this podcast that last year I got married to a frequent guest of this show, Dr. Anna Peppard, but we never had a wedding reception. And this past week we had one. And lo and behold, who actually led our vow renewal, but one and only Zachary Jenkins.
I did that.
Werewolf himself.
Oh, yeah, I'm a werewolf. The bad boy of X-Men podcasting is around to officiate your wedding vow renewals. And in the state of Ohio is around to officiate your wedding. Other states could be done, but the price will be increased just to handle the paperwork to get the official licensing in that state. But I could do it. That's honestly, I take that back. That's not an open invitation to have me do your wedding.
Well, we appreciate it.
You know how to actually text me on my cell phone? That is an open offer. If you only know me from this podcast, I'm not doing your wedding.
I'm not going to do it. No,
I'm not.
But we were very grateful, so thank you. It was a really fun event, and I believe we have a request for this week that coincides with this event.
It did. And much like the event, this is a wedding-themed episode featuring the X-Men, which means you get a mix of people who are baffled by what is happening and a mix of people who are in the know and giggling at it. The guy who I sat next to, who looked identical to actor Richard Jenkins, he was not in the know.
No, I believe that was Anna's uncle. He does look like Richard Jenkins. I never thought about that before.
Exactly like Richard Jenkins. Bud, me and my wife were sitting there the whole time. Like, he looks like Richard Jenkins, right? We're watching. we were watching DTF St. Louis, so Richard Jenkins was on the mind.
Amazing. Yeah, it was an interesting combination of people.
A lot of good friends, a lot of new friends, a lot of Adam and Anna's family.
Yes. So
again, we're baffled by many of the things, by just the concept of how a podcast could lead to a wedding.
Yeah. How are these things connected? But I do think the request for this theme this week did come from my lovely wife. Did it not?
It did. It absolutely came from Dr. Anna Peppard, who, after she sent in the request, I texted her and said, Anna, this is a really bad way to like, it's a bit, and I appreciate this, but you need to set an alarm to cancel this monthly subscription for next month, because the money just goes back to you and Adam. Like, so all we're doing is finding a way to pay Patreon money, and none of us are benefiting from it. I'll accept it for the bit. For the bit, Patreon can take its little bit off the top.
It's pretty great.
The bit. So before it is a wedding themed episode.
Yeah. So if someone who is not married to us would like to request something, what do they do, Zach?
That is actually such an important point. You can go over to patreon.com/Battle of the Atom, reach deep down into your hearts and pocketbooks, and toss a couple of coins directly into our coffers. If you do that, at the $5 a month level, which I'll be honest is the only level.
Mm-hmm.
We're
We
not
keep
doing
it simple.
It's too much to do more than this. But at the $5 a month level, you are going to be able to make a bespoke request for whatever X-Men story you would like us to cover, and we'll cover it. And that's what
Mhm.
we'll do. That's just what we'll do.
It's right. And it has been probably about 2 years since we covered the wedding of Scott Summers and Jean Grey on episode 361. So with that one out of the way, we've got some more interesting and unique wedding X-Men stories to tell today, starting with what, Zach?
We are going to start in the Mario year of 2006. This is Black Panther 14 through 18. It is the wedding of the century, the bride of the Panther. It's written by Reginald Hudlin with pencils by largely Scott Eaton.
And inks by Klaus Janson. I liked the art quite a bit in these issues.
I think Eaton and Jansen do a real bang up job.
They're a good combo
on this.
Yeah.
Adam, we were talking a little bit off mic. Have you read the Reginald Hudlin Black Panther run?
I have not. My main familiarity of it was because it opens with an arc with John Romita Jr. That was later turned into a 2010 BET animated series because Reggie Hudlin at this time that he's writing this is actually the president of BET.
That is Black Entertainment Television.
Yeah. Yeah.
And folks who don't remember what TV channels were back, there was a time when there was this thing called cable, folks, and not the X-Men. But it was like Netflix, but you didn't get to choose what you watched. You just kind of flicked up and down till you found A Knight's Tale, perhaps, or a rerun of Seinfeld that you wanted to spend the next little bit with. This was that. It was MTV. It was MTV, but targeted at a Black audience. That's what it was. That was BET.
Absolutely. I mean, I wasn't really connecting the dots until you actually get to issue 19 and you have like on-air BET personalities introducing the event and hosting it. And I was like, what's going on here? And then I realized who Reggie Hudlin was. And I was like, oh, this guy is responsible for like enormous landmarks in Black entertainment throughout the 80s and the 90s. Reading his Wikipedia blew my freaking mind because I was like,
Reginald Hudlin has done a lot. And my understanding is there is open conversation about if all of it was good or bad to do. But generally, he's done a lot. Hey, he produced Django Unchained.
He did.
Some people would like. I've only saw it once when it first came out, and I thought that movie was a hoot. But I have not watched it in years.
I think more importantly for folks of my generation, Reggie Hudlin is
Ladies Man.
Is the architect of House Party starring Kid and Play.
Okay, well, yes, also that.
Also the 90s animated movie Bebe's Kids, which, wow, when I found that out, that just like, that blew my mind. I mean, his credits are insane. His Wikipedia also claims that he and his wife introduced Doug Emhoff to Kamala Harris. Which I'm like, okay, it's wild.
The New York Times reported that. So
yeah,
he was hired to direct a Shadow Man movie. You know, Shadow Man from Valiant.
Yeah.
That never came out because they only made one Valiant movie, and it came out as the pandemic was opening. And then they said, "Oh, wait, people don't like Valiant, actually."
Yeah, it also
that's not to say that there weren't very talented creators working on Valiant books. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't know.
Cachet.
I don't know if Valiant is ever going to take hold in the larger cinematic universe, especially not with a Vin Diesel Bloodshot movie. But
did you actually watch the Vin Diesel Bloodshot movie? Because I kind of heard it. was okay.
I did not, but maybe one day.
It was kind of okay.
Yeah. All right. So, we've kind of taken this tangent on Reggie, but what's your familiarity with his Black Panther?
So it comes after Christopher Priest's Marvel Knights Black Panther run.
Mm-hmm.
Priest runs that for about 50 some issues, always on the cusp of cancellation, but always a book that like those who were in the know was like, hey, this is something pretty special. And in fact, it's a book that like a lot of the Black Panther movie
Yes.
pulls from what Priest was doing, because it was very much a evolution of the character
Mm-hmm.
It was an evolution that harkens back to his origins, the like Stan and Jack original concept for the character. In some ways, I think of it very much of a piece with New X-Men. Like,
oh yeah,
it's around the same era. It is a experienced creator coming in and taking a really big swing, not always hitting it, but adding so much to the mythos that like it will never be the same. And in the very same way, Reginald Hudlin, his run is really of a piece with Joss Whedon's Astonishing, for good and for ill. It is someone with a Hollywood sensibility coming in and doing the splashy, streamlined version of it. You mentioned the John Romita Jr. arc that starts this. That is very much a, hey, I'm going to retell T'Challa's origin, and this will be the origin story that you could hand to anyone and just know where to start it. His run is much more commercial, a lot less experimental than Priest run. It sold better than Priest run. And while there's definitely stuff from it that has stuck around, I would say it's probably pound for pound less memorable, with the exception of major things that happen, including in this arc where Black Panther gets married.
Yeah. Now, I think it's really important for our listeners to know that if you've never read this, this is the arc where Black Panther and Storm rekindle their relationship after having had this romantic experience when they were young. Now, longtime listeners of this show or readers who knew of Storm Volume 2 might think, oh, right. Well, in Storm Volume 2, they were having that. And that's Eric Jerome Dickey and David Yarden writing that, writing and drawing. Of course, they have that relationship. Now, what people may not remember, because I didn't.
That book is happening concurrently with this arc of Black Panther.
Exactly.
That is a marketing decision.
So this story of Black Panther and Storm having this like long time connection since their youth, it didn't exist before this happened. And the explanation of it exists primarily in the exploration that's being done in a mini series that's happening concurrently. So you're expected to pick this up and accept that they have had this like long-term longing that's on a pause where Hudlin is just picking it up.
There's to give them credit, there's a little bit, not a ton, but a little bit more to it. It does come from a Chris Claremont idea.
Yes.
From Marvel Team Up 100, I believe. And then in Priest's run, there is a bit where Storm and Black Panther interact again, largely based around like that concept of, one, Storm's the most popular Black character at Marvel, period. Like 100%. It's weird that people think of Black Panther today because he was in all the big movies as bigger and better, but like Storm was the most popular woman at Marvel for 30 years.
Sure. Like, unfortunately, not a lot of female characters to choose from.
Yeah, but like I would say from the 80s to maybe 2010 is when she starts falling off in terms of who's the most important woman at Marvel. It's Storm. Yeah. And Priest brings them together in his run for like a couple of issues. That is very much about how, they had a connection in the past. And his Black Panther, who is a little bit more of a morally gray character, is like, maybe I could have something more with Storm. And she's like, no, this doesn't work. Like, you are a king. You have to make the hard choices, and sometimes choices that I cannot morally defend. So we can't be together. Like, you will never, this cannot work. You cannot do this. And I am too powerful for this. And I mentioned that it was a marketing push to have this book and Storm Volume 2 come out together, because that's what this marriage almost explicitly is.
It feels that way, even story-wise.
Story-wise, and like, the idea was, like, Hudlin's very open about this. He was like, I want Beyonce and Jay-Z. I want the biggest Black power couple that you can have. And I like that in concept. I don't disagree with, like, okay, Storm and T'Challa could be an interesting couple.
Oh, sure.
I actually think they are a pretty interesting couple. I do think that there are some tactical and execution things with how both it's handled in this and how it's handled long term that really sour this for a lot of readers, and that is a hard thing to wrap around.
I'm going to say that I think largely it's a successful story. I think it's drawn well. I think that the tone is very, you can tell it's written by somebody who has screenplay history and can write dialogue. There are moments where the wide variety of characters that are interacting with this proposal and then the eventual wedding. We've got the Fantastic Four. We've got the X-Men. We've got the Avengers.
We've got the Arabian Night.
Arabian Night.
That's not a joke. It's a new one. And guess what? He worked for OPEC. You could never get away with that in today's Marvel.
So there's some weird, well, I want to get into that in a second, because there's some weird jokes that don't really land, as well as some subplots that are just strange and don't really work. But
you talk about the man-ape stuff?
Man-ape, there's a whole thing where, like, the wedding is going to be ruined by Tashan. And anyway, my larger thing about this is twofold. One, because the cast is so big, sometimes the characters don't really seem to have the right voices based on who we're talking to and what they're talking about. The other piece of it that I think is really interesting is that when you're talking about having a Wakandan wedding, it's weird to me that so much of this story revolves around a very Western idea of bachelor parties and, Western ideas of what it means to get ready for the big day, and ignores the cool Afrofuturistic potential for what that could actually be. We really only get a smidge of that when the actual wedding takes place and we switch to Carrie Andrews doing, like, this weird otherworldly thing where they have to encounter the Panther god.
Bast. Yes, we know Bast.
I just wish there was more to that and less of, is Black Panther going to humor Luke Cage in a night of debauchery at a strip club?
That Luke Cage thing is weird. That's
like, part of it.
The strip club issue is the worst one, right? Like, by far. Yeah.
Well, it also, it's not that Storm doesn't like to go shopping. We've seen that in Jubilee's first appearance, but is she going to go shopping with Sue Richards of the Fantastic Four?
Someone she vaguely knows.
And I just, like, weird stuff like that is throughout, where you're like, I don't know. This doesn't quite seem like the Marvel universe that I'm.
It is not the Marvel universe that you, guy who runs a podcast, think of, because you know all of the intricacies. It very much does feel like the Marvel universe of generic, I know these IP, they must connect.
Yes.
And that is I want to give, because I don't think Hudlin gets enough credit in Marvel. as a whole for setting up this marriage. They don't just half-ass it and say, well, they're getting married now.
No.
They have this as a long-running thing in Black Panther for this series. They have the Storm mini-series that goes on. There is setup in multiple different X-Men series about this, building up to it. Like there's a crossover with Peter Milligan's he's doing Uncanny at the time, which is truly one of the most atrocious Uncanny runs that we don't talk about. But like Milligan has a crossover with Hudlin's Black Panther to start setting up this dynamic. Claremont does a whole annual about Storm's family, which, by the way, we get some wild stuff about Storm's family in here.
Yeah, we learned that she has grandparents and that there's an existing like great grandchild.
All I know is that it's not Evan from X-Men Evolution, and
yeah,
I was like, missed opportunity right there to give me this version of Spike. But
yeah,
I guess Reginald Hudlin doesn't care about the same things that I do. I'm just kidding. No one on X-Men Evolution even cared about Evan. That's why they wrote him out.
It's okay. That's why, Milligan ran with it.
And there's little things like this is also their wedding is a Civil War crossover.
Yeah. I mean, like you get to a point where it's just, there's too much going on, that you keep ignoring some of the subplots and like, you spend 3 pages introducing the quote unquote Arabian Night only for him to be vanquished in like a gag. There's things like, or Manape, with 3 pages with Manape saying how he's going to, and then, he did get invited to the wedding. So that's not a plot anymore.
I cannot believe that we like Manape in this day and age. How Ryan Coogler has done a lot of really cool things in the world.
Yeah.
How did he get Manape over? Like with my wife, where like regular people are like, oh, M'Baku? I love him.
Holy crap. When M'Baku appears and like the Doomsday trailer with the Thing, and I was like, I'm in. What's going on?
Hold on. I didn't watch that. Hold on. Uh-oh. Wait. He's hanging out with Ben Grimm. Oh no, Adam.
I'm just saying, like
Adam, they're getting me. I'll break this curse.
That's what's proof about like how good Coogler did. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, that guy. I love that guy. These 2 guys together. All right.
Let me ask, do you feel, I mean, this is the Black Panther book, but do you feel like Storm gets enough to do in this series? And I don't even know if she needs to, because again, she also has her own book that's going on right now dealing with her thoughts on this.
This is
setting up her thoughts on this.
I do think that this is maybe my core like reluctance about this is that I don't know if Reggie really gets Storm.
And look, this is not necessarily on Reginald Hudlin, because as of 2006, literally one person has gotten Storm.
Yeah, but he clearly gets T'Challa. I don't think that voice is that weird. It's the way in which Storm's dialogue is done, some of the ways in which she's drawn. She feels a little too casual.
She's super casual and super submissive to this whole thing.
Yeah. Like she should be. There's a couple of really great standout scenes. There's one with a press conference where she really struts her stuff in front of the cameras and is like, no, actually, I know what I'm talking about. And I don't agree with my husband on everything. Things like that need to be turned up to 10 because there's a lot of head nods towards Storm's grand history. We actually get recapped what Storm's history is twice throughout this, and maybe even 3 times if you count the grandparents thing.
Mm-hmm.
And yet there's not a huge acknowledgement of like what those things have made her into and who she is. And she seems too generic to me in a lot of ways.
I think that the core challenge with this marriage is that it truly does sideline Storm as a character to be a supporting character to Black Panther, because the book is never called Storm and Black Panther or Black Panther Storm. It is Black Panther. It is his book.
Yep.
And by that, both by that and by the isolationist nature of both Wakanda and the X-Men, she doesn't ever feel naturally a part of either one. And they are completely like, look, freaking, they figured out how to make Storm work for like 2 years with Al Ewing.
Yeah.
That's the only time since then that Storm's really felt like was back. And kind of the only time since Claremont. Even now in her solo book, which I've not read enough of to have a fully formed opinion on, she's absolutely isolated from her norm. She is not part of the X-Men proper and not part of the overall stuff that's going on. Like, it has done damage to the character long term. And I think it's hard for me to look back at this in full, like, not sincerity, but like rationality, and be like, I can see the good and the bad and weigh them equally. Because I mostly just see the impact of this. And there's a part of me that's like, why'd you do that to Storm?
Yeah.
Why'd you do that to my friend Storm?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not the worst thing in the world that's ever happened. It's just like, it really did throw things off for a while.
It objectifies her in a really weird way. Like, multiple characters are talking about like how they wish that they were the ones that got a chance to like be with Storm.
But it's not marry Storm. It's got a chance to bang Storm. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, there's even a scene with Luke Cage asking Wolverine if he quote unquote hit it. And it's like, come on, man.
I do not care for Reginald Hudlin's Luke Cage.
Yeah. It's a lot.
I do not care for his Luke Cage.
It's a lot. There's a lot to like here, and it is, given the same kind of prestige, I think, that X-Men 30 had. They brought in a designer to do the dress for Storm.
They're trying to make this a huge deal. And they put a big marketing push outside of just comics on this. Like, they knew that Storm was important enough to give all this treatment to. I just wish they remembered that after the wedding as well.
Yeah. Yep.
Want to rank this?
Yeah, let's do it. How do we do this? What are we ranking these with?
Oh, we're ranking every X-Men comic from best to worst.
Wow.
We have ranked 1,149 unique X-Men stories. The best is the House of X Powers of 10. Number 275 on the list is the first 4 issues of Immortal X-Men. 550 is Generation Hope Schism. 825 is the AVX crossover for X-Men Legacy. Number 1100 is Starjammers Volume 2, Dune. And 1149 is 2099 World of Tomorrow. One thing, Adam, I will have to tell you this because I think you'll like it.
Yeah.
I keep feeling like maybe I should read Dune.
Dune's great.
I don't want to, but I'm getting a weird itch. Like, maybe I just read Dune. Maybe not 26. Maybe 27's my Dune year.
At least read Dune and Dune Messiah. I've heard the movies.
I've seen the movies. I've heard that the teens don't actually care for the movies. I had a teen very explicitly tell me that last weekend, in fact.
Yes. Are you talking about my daughter who's very anti Timmy Chalamet right now?
I'm talking about your daughter who's right and should say so. Your daughter who did not appreciate Timmy Chalamet being like, well, dance isn't real.
Yeah. Yeah. As a dancer, she took that. She's
love that for her. Love that for her. This is not like near the bottom of the list. This is like it's kind of just like there,
It's 702. We have Storm Volume 2.
This is better than Storm Volume 2.
I think it's better than Storm Volume 2.
Storm
but I
Volume
don't think
2 is just not. Storm Volume 2 is less well plotted and also even worse for Storm's character.
Now at 600, we have the hunt for Xavier. Is this better or worse than that?
I don't know. Kind of better. It's kind of better.
Okay.
Is this better or worse than Legion of X at 590? Because Because I feel like I want to put you in a tough position immediately.
Yeah, that's tough. That is tough. This is not as good as at 601 Amazing Spider-Man 161 to 162, which is Spider-Man, Nightcrawler, and Punisher.
Well, then this will be the new 602 then. This will be the new 602, which does put it below Legion of X.
Yeah.
If you want to know Adam's full opinion on this.
I honestly think that's fair.
I think it's fair. 602.
This is a real mixed bag.
It's real mixed. It's mixed.
Yeah.
Do you know what else is mixed?
The run of Excalibur.
I was gonna say nuts. They're oft mixed.
Yeah.
And do you know who are some mixed nuts? That would be the Crazy Gang.
The Crazy Gang does appear in Excalibur 124, but not. Oh yeah, no, they're in 125.
Everyone is in 125 for better and often for worse.
Yes. So this is Ben Robb, Dale Eaglesham, inks by Scott Hanna. 124 has a cover by Ringo. The 125 has an Alan Davis cover. And this is the wedding of Captain Britain and Megan.
It is. 124 is the stag parties for them, which I've got to tell you something, Adam.
Yes.
Because this is Anna related.
Yes.
And I don't think she knows this. So this will be a fun surprise for her.
Okay.
When Anna was doing her podcast, Oh Gosh, Oh Golly, Oh Wow.
Yeah, you were on Gosh Golly Wow to talk about this issue, were you not?
I was. Important. Hold it. Hold that piece in your mind.
Okay.
I was getting a little annoyed at Anna for not inviting me on the podcast. Because it had been gone on for a while. We were friends. Like, I was like,
it's true.
We talk daily. You know, I like X-Men. Like, you're not even going to invite me? Now, here's the prestige on this.
Yeah.
I had somehow forgotten that quite early on, she did ask me if there was any Excalibur that I wanted to cover. And I explicitly said this one. And I had completely forgotten about that for like 2 years.
So here you are getting all pissy, and
she's
just waiting.
I was acting as if my friends had forgotten about me.
Nobody forgot about you.
You know what? Beautiful how I mirrored this comic in reality, because 124 is about the stag parties for Captain Britain and for Megan.
Right.
It is also about Farron being mad that everyone forgot about him.
Yeah, Farron, who replaces the stripper inside of Nightcrawler's prop cake and
Hilarious.
Just pops out naked and everybody and is like, you forgot about me. I'm supposed to inherit the Phoenix. I'm somebody, you know.
This might be the closest that Ben Robb gets to doing like real Excalibur.
You know what? Credit to where it's due. Ben Robb's Excalibur is pretty terrible on the whole. It's pretty awful.
It was 1998 in Marvel. A lot of things were pretty awful.
Yeah. And, you know, folks who didn't listen to Gosh Golly Wow, haven't read these issues, you're not missing a ton by skipping the Ben Robb era. However, because it's the end of the book and there's a desire to kind of connect everything back to the start of this book and wrap up some loose ends, we do get a lot of classic Claremont and Davis stuff, including some Captain Britain stuff. Like you mentioned, the Crazy Gang shows up here.
Crazy Gang shows up. The people who come to Megan's, I guess, dough party. I don't know how they call them. Her bachelorette party.
Yeah.
Are Dr. Moira McTaggart, who is there to get wasted. She wants to go out. She wants to see some ding-a-ling swing. She wants to drink. She wants to have a nice time.
Yes.
And she's like, you just think because we are lasses that we're going to shop and have tea and talk about stuff, and then they immediately talk about shopping and tea and other stuff. They say exactly what she said, and then she's like, ugh, women, am I right?
Captain UK is also there, and also quite randy.
Everyone loves Linda McQuillan. Love that she shows up. Wolfsbane and Shadowcat are also there, obviously. And at the men's side, Brian, who does not drink anymore, which good for him, is kind of like weird about the thing. He's like, everyone wants to have a good, fun time, but like, I'm in my 30s, so I'm past this, which I'm gonna say, Brian, relatable.
Understandable.
There's a certain point where you're like, I can't imagine. I cannot. We didn't even have crazy bachelor parties, which I actually assume is the norm for bachelor parties, is not to have crazy ones in reality. But like, I can't imagine drinking as much as I did at some of the bachelor parties that I went to.
Well, he doesn't even have this option. And really,
he has an option to drink if he wants. He's choosing not to by exerting his free will.
Yes, which is good, because there's also this very annoying subplot that goes through these two issues about the feelings that Megan had for Colossus while Captain Britain was lost in the time stream for a while, which she should feel no guilt about whatsoever. She thought Captain Britain was gone forever. There's really no reason why she should feel guilty about this. And yet Colossus and Megan are both like tearing themselves to pieces over this, and it's Colossus so annoying.
Okay, I don't hate it, because I think the resolution to this is actually fairly well done, because Megan caught feelings for Colossus. That was an ongoing thing for Ben Robb's run, and Colossus doesn't have feelings for Megan. And then when Captain Britain comes back, like, he's like, yeah, you were just like, you were lost in looking for something, but now it's awkward because you guys are getting married now. And like, are you going to tell him? Like, should I tell him? I'm Colossus. I think maybe I should tell him, which is overstepping his bounds a little bit, but he can't keep anything to himself. It's a very Peter Rasputin thing to do. But Captain Britain, like, has a mature response to all this. He's like, oh, okay. Like, Megan, you want to get married still? Great, we're good.
Yeah.
He like reassures her and said, look, one, you have super empathy powers. Like, you're going to feel something for someone no matter where you're around. I know that going in. And like, you love me and I love you. So it's okay. I think that I don't like the subplot because I think it takes a lot of time to get to where it ends up, but I don't mind where it ends up.
It's just a remnant of bad Ben Robb writing. It's very, very annoying, as is most of the stuff that he does with Colossus. But we do get to this
Colossus.
No, we do get the Great Crazy Gang cameo in 124, which is a lot of fun. And then in 125, we basically have sort of like everybody in the audience, which in some cases is fun. We get members of TechNet. We get members of the Crazy Gang. You know, we also unfortunately get the Nazi Excalibur from the Crosstime Caper, like really focused on in couple panels. It's really weird.
They get screen time.
Yes, they get dialogue. Like,
it's just not a choice I would have made. Why?
No, to the point where
you didn't have to invite them, Brian.
No,
fact, it's a little weird that you are sitting around and like, I guess it's okay that he's a Captain Britain still. Feels like you should have stronger feelings about this.
Yeah, I mean, to the point where I believe there's a splash page. Well, there's a splash page of them kissing that I really love. It's a full bleed page of like, you know, them embracing, kissing. She's saying eternally, and this like spiral of stars is coming off of them and around. It's just a great page. Eaglesham does a great job.
Eaglesham does a great job. I like Dale Eaglesham. I think he's an underrated artist.
But to our previous point, the page before that, where it's like they're saying their vows, you get this like shot of the crowd, and dead center is a swastika. And it's like, ooh, you didn't have to
like,
do that. Just put that character off panel. Don't do that.
have them trying to get into the wedding and kick him out. Like,
Yeah, great. Easy.
that would honor the spirit of what you're trying to do. And it would also give you a fight scene that this thing really wants. There's some weird stuff in it. There's the whole thing about not Megan, but Colossus, Nightcrawler, and Shadowcat realizing, hey, we probably don't fit here anymore. We need to go back to the X.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Douglock needs to be an amnesiac.
Well, Douglock also just drank a huge amount and doesn't.
Yeah, he gets drunk and can't remember who he is. Hangover. Yeah, so that's weird. But Pete everything with Douglock is weird. Oh, I like that. I like that Pete's not there and like
I do,
is off being a curmudgeon somewhere. That's
a good Pete Wisdom moment. I don't love the Amanda Sefton and Cerise fighting over Nightcrawler thing.
Here's what I will say about that. That I don't like, but I don't hate it. What I do like is the way in which they very specifically make Colossus and Kitty both get the garter and the bouquet to indicate that they are supposed to be married next. But it's also very clear that like Kitty's not into it. And I'm like, yes, that's great.
Colossus is a little too into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No, that's actually done pretty well.
There's moments in this that I like. There's moments in this that I roll my eyes. But look, it's a wedding issue. It's the last issue of a series that, like 2 issues beforehand, they weren't really planning on wrapping up.
Yeah, and I would say is sort of just like a nice tribute to the book as a whole. It's a nice issue. It's a lot better than, oh boy, like you look at what came before it for the previous years, and it's pretty rough. So
what I think it's a testament to how much Excalibur had been spinning its wheels for 3 years that they had like 2 issues notice that they were going to get canceled, and they're able to tie it up really like cleanly.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And you know what happened quickly because Mimic just had joined the cast for no reason if the book was going to get canceled. Like, if you knew that, you would not have put him in that issue beforehand and had him. It's so weird. It is such a weird era of everything. But I don't hate this wedding. I think that it works as a capstone for this time with these characters. And it's pretty neat. I do think you could almost entirely skip from the last Alan Davis issue to this, and besides not knowing everyone had forgotten about Farron, you'd probably be okay.
So we have some Excalibur on the list, including one where there's an issue number missing, so I don't really know which one it is.
Oh, hold on. Because legitimately we do need to fix that.
Yeah. But I would say right off the bat, I think this is better than the London Hellfire Club at 775.
Okay.
I think this is better than Girls' School from Heck at 639.
Okay.
And I think this is probably better than both arcs of New Excalibur that we have here at 593 and 588.
So what's at 550 is Generation Hope Schism. Is it better or worse than that?
I mean, I don't want to give it too much credit, but what's it? 550 is Generation Hope Schism. I'm looking at what's around there. I would say this is probably not as good as those 2 issues of Ultimate X-Men that introduced Gambit at 557.
It's not as good as at 557. Is it better than X Factor Forever?
No.
Okay. Is it better than True Friends? X-Men True Friends?
Yes.
Okay, that's 581. So we're getting pretty close. We got a nice little area right here. Is this better or worse than that issue of Ghost Rider that X Factor shows up in?
It's better.
Okay, it's not better than X-Men: The Last Stand Collector's Edition DVD movie with comic book.
Great. So this is our new 576 Excalibur Volume 1, 124 and 125. And we have one last wedding special for you folks. This is from the Marvel Voices Pride series. This is very specific. It's got to be the X-Men The Wedding Special Volume 2, because we already had one of these for Gene and Scott.
Nope.
Number 1. This is the wedding.
X-Men The Wedding Special Volume 1 was not Gene and Scott.
Oh no, what was it?
Because the Gene and Scott one you're thinking of is the X-Men Wedding album.
So what is the Wedding Special Volume 1?
Wedding Special Volume 1 is the bachelor party and bachelorette party special that Chris Claremont helped write for Kitty and Peter, who did not get married, but it is the one where Chris Claremont's like, yeah, that guy from True Friends, that's Kitty's true love. What are you guys thinking?
Oh,
it was
so
him.
Funny.
It was
What
that guy
amazing
whose name
stuff.
I don't remember. Kinross? Is it Alistair
Yes,
Kinross?
something
It's
like that.
Kinross.
Yeah.
That's wild. Hey, this is just for you. I did find what that episode or what that thing of Excalibur was, and I added it back in. Fun fact about that: the entire episode description for that one is the prompt was a fine selection of Claremont tentacles, please.
Amazing.
That was a good joke I made 2 years ago. Also, the name of the episode is "The Dream of the Fisherman's Wife," which I find hilarious.
Great job.
Yeah, so this issue is celebrating Mystique and Destiny's wedding ?
Well, it is a vow renewal, because as we learn in this issue, Mystique and Destiny were married shortly before Mystique was killed on Muir Island. So we have a little bit of a retcon here. You're giving me a face.
I feel like her and Destiny got married in X-Men Blue Origins.
Maybe. I'm just telling you, this
because I remember because they get married by a guy without a neck, and
that happens in this comic.
I know
happens
it does
in this comic.
That's not the first time that it happened like that. I feel so heavily that was a callback to Blue Origins because I thought it was weird.
Well, take a look. While you're doing that, I'm just going to run through.
It's so important that we get this weird detail right.
Yeah, I remember seeing that guy whose face is in his chest and has no head, and really racking my brain to see who that was.
It's just a dude. It's just a dude.
Just a dude.
I don't know why they got married by a mutant. It
Who
just
cares? Well, they were on Muir Island,
but he wasn't. We know there were only so many
there were
people
like
on
6
Muir Island
guys
at the time.
Yeah. All right. So just to go over some creators while Zach is looking this up. We have Kieran Gillen and Rachel Stott writing and drawing Something Borrowed, Something Blue. Wedding Great Crashers is by Teeny Howard and Philip Seavey. Get Mystique a Gift is Tate Bromble and Emilio Pilio. Epi is The Truth by Yunha Lee and Stephen Byrne. The Thief's Surprise by Wyatt Kennedy and Jen St. Ong. And then we also get a publishing journey of Mystique and Destiny, which is by the editors.
We're going to talk about that in a second. By the way, no, weird flat guy is just from this, which I was wrong. Very funny though.
That's okay. There's an interview with Claremont. There is a weird insert of Luciano Vecchio's Unlimited comic with Iceman that doesn't belong here. And then we get a reprint of the backup story from X Factor Annual number 6 by Peter David and Guang Yap. So this thing is literally packed.
Like, here's the thing. That backup makes sense. The Iceman one, it's because this is a Voices special and they wanted to fatten it up.
Sure.
Though I will say I appreciated this for the Marvel like Voices line because they made it a story where the rest had not actually been stories. They had been weird vignettes. Mm-hmm. This is a full story. And maybe it's just because they have a frame, but at least it feels so much more cohesive.
Oh, I would agree. I mean, there's a framing device of the wedding itself that is then referring back to the other things that are happening in the smaller stories, right? Like, why did the reception happen before the wedding? Why didn't Saturnine get an invitation? Like little things like that then get paid off as part of the smaller stories. And I think it's largely successful.
I think there are stronger pieces and weaker pieces, and I do think it is front loaded because I think Kieran Gillen and Rachel Sott do a solid job.
Oh yeah.
With the frame device. I love the Teenie Howard, Jeopardy's own Teenie Howard, and Philip Seavey story with Rachel and Betsy and Gatecrasher and TechNet. Like the fact that Teenie got a chance to do Gatecrasher and TechNet for her Excalibur, that was needed. It also helps like sell the Betsy and Rachel relationship a lot harder than like it gives it more space and gives it more focus for just those two. And I appreciate that.
I like that a lot.
I think Tate Brombell's story about getting Mystique a gift is okay, which is Wolverine mentoring a bunch of queer X-Men teens to help find a gift. What I do love about it is Anna Lay being the voice of the most annoying person you've ever seen on Twitter, who's talking about how these aren't good role models for queer representation. And again, not my place to talk about that or like have any strong opinions that anyone needs to listen to on that. Is my place to say that's a very good gag that is based so heavily in reality. And I am not naming the several first names of people that I could name who have made the exact same comments that Anna Lay was making before saying, y'all don't take it too seriously. This is a superhero comic about beat 'em ups.
Yeah, I think those are all pretty strong. The one that doesn't work for me is Emma, who then turns out to be Loki, giving marriage counseling to Mystique and Destiny on the astral plane. That one's weak to me. It looks great. It's not a terrible idea. It flashes back to the Peter David X Factor story, but I don't know, especially the payoff that it was Loki is really weird and shoehorned in, and it doesn't work.
I think Stephen Byrne's art is really good in it, and it's something that Stephen Byrne's never had a real like shot at Marvel, and I'm not 100% sure why. And part of me definitely thinks it's because had other things going on that made more money.
Hopefully, right?
Then what's the last one is? Oh, it's a Rogan Gambit story that I don't think really is successful.
See, I don't dislike that one, and I like that they kind of flexed with a more cartoony style story with Jen St. Ong's artwork, but it also just it does feel a little bit more like padding because it's not really about much. It's like, Gambit fights the Thieves Guild on the subway, and you're like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
You said you wanted to touch on this publishing journey thing. What did you want to say about that?
So, and this is just it's a weird thing for me that Marvel is patting itself on the back on, hey, here's the publishing journey of their love. Because, and this is something that Claremont, like in his interview right after this, mentions. It's like, hey, why weren't they married before? And he goes just stop of saying, because Jim Shooter was super homophobic. Like, and then like also culture was, we couldn't do that.
Yeah.
We weren't allowed. So celebrating this super long historic romance that had to explicitly be done under the table.
Mm-hmm.
It is hard to square with that with the real reality of how their relationship worked in the comics, specifically at a time when, like, look, you know how many stuff the X-Men office was sneaking under the table about, hey, this character's actually queer? That plenty of people have continued to say, no, that wasn't that. No, you're misreading this. You're misinterpreting this. Something that I'm not stupid. So like, it's hard for me to, again, this is not about, it's the same thing I said on the other Pride special. Not about any of the
just
creators
talked about this,
working on
right?
this. Yes.
We talked about this with the Pride special with Somnus's, first appearance in the idea that Marvel is kind of retroactively backpatting themselves for something they didn't do and
Yeah.
actually really worked actively against.
Yes. Nothing but respect and love to all the creators who are working in this. And you know what? That's just where I'll say about that. The other thing, and this is more of a Zach kind of thing. I don't want to be an Anale about this.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of hate how much of Lovey-Dovey Family they keep trying to push Destiny, Mystique, Rogue, and Nightcrawler.
Me too.
I cannot stand it. One,
Yeah.
Rogue, her relationship with Destiny Mystique is interesting because it's weird and complex in that she doesn't just completely love them because, hey, super abusive to make a teenage girl into a terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
That is actually bad. Two, I liked it better when I know I liked it better when they just threw him off a waterfall. Like that was, I prefer that. And I think my favorite idea, like I wish there was more tension. I wish there was more grit between, hey, my moms are terrorists that like I don't like. How do I square that with the fact that they're my moms? And like Gillen gives Destiny Mystique like a big moment to be like, hey, we are evil.
Yes.
But it's done in a kind of a cheeky way. Like we're fun evil. And
well,
I'm
okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Okay with that in the context of this right here. Yes.
This special, if this was the general thing of what was going on moving forward with these 4 characters, I'd be like, oh, no, thank you. There's that really weird Chris Claremont backup to one of the X-Men Blue things that's like this, where they're all just like hanging out as a family. And it's like, this is weird, right?
Yeah.
But for this particular issue, I'm okay with it because essentially all of this serves to be this like kind of romantic thing so that Rogue can make the, hey, they've been gay and doing crimes since, the 1800s. So
it's a whole thing for Kieran Gillen to make an internet joke.
Exactly. And I'm okay with it.
Kieran Gillen, friend of the show, Kieran Gillen, but that is the most Kieran Gillen thing. If only he tied in a Britpop song to it.
So I gotta say, I enjoyed this. I think it's for the most part really successful. I like it. It's another sort of salute and goodbye to the Krakoa era in a way.
It is.
And so I enjoyed it. I think this is probably my favorite of the 3 that we talked about. At 551, we have that first appearance of Somnus. I think this is probably more successful than that Pride issue.
As a whole, it is because this works as a cohesive story. What's that out again? What's that number?
Now at 508, we have Amazing Nightcrawler from Age of X-Man. What do you think about this versus that?
I'm not as hot on Amazing Nightcrawler. If you remember, Anna was on that one and did advocate for that comic.
Yeah, I think I like this more.
I don't like this more than 498, which is Colossus God's Country.
I think that's fair, but I think it's pretty well put together. Oh no, I was about to say it's better than something, and then okay, this is better than Arcade Classics, which is the Marvel Capcom mini comic that came in with the video game.
That's at 305. So between that and Colossus God's Country
stuff here,
we got X-Men 2099 Oasis, the Mike Carey Supernova's arc Primary Infection, Wolverine Ghost Rider Weapons of Vengeance, and Dark X-Men Volume 2. Now, I own a page from one of those comics. I don't know. My wife got me a page from Dark X-Men Volume 2. It has mushrooms on it. She got it for me for Christmas. It was an incredibly thoughtful gift, and specifically, I know that she just texted Adam and was like, would Zach like this?
And I said yes for multiple reasons.
Yeah, you got it spot on. Yeah. Spot on that.
No, Kaya got it. I just gave the thumbs up.
But like, I trust you to know that if there was a page of like Azazel, I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want that item in my home. And that
All
could
right.
have happened in that comic. Or if I hated the comic, but it had a character I liked and I'd be mad at it. There's a whole, you've been doing this show with me long enough to know my bugaboos.
Sure. I know what would have been a no-no for you.
I cannot put this above Primary Infection. This is not better than the Supernovas thing that's at 500 right now.
Is it better than Weapons of Vengeance?
It is as equally uneven as both Weapons of Vengeance and Dark X-Men.
I would put it above both of them.
Okay. I only have so many feelings on that. This can be 501. Man, it's wild that Weapons of Vengeance has had so much continuity impact. Like, they're still making comics about Barghoul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wild.
All right. So our new 501 is X-Men The Wedding Special Volume 2, number 1, a Marvel Voices Pride special.
Too many colons. Too many colons, guys. You got
a lot of stuff.
You gotta just like make it a thing. But that's the end of the episode.
It is. And folks, if you want to have your own idea, go to patreon.com/battletheatom.
Fun fact, folks, we're probably going to be giving some patrons who have had a shot in the past. We're going to give them another shot to pick up some stuff as a token of our appreciation for their continued loyalty. So if you are a patron, more about that coming soon. You can check the Patreon feed for a little bit of information around how we are thinking of doing that with more to come. And if you're not a patron, well, you know what? Now's the best time to get started because those bonus requests, those second requests, those are time-based. You got to put in the work. You got to be a loyal member of the Boda Boys Bonanza, as I call our patrons.
The Boda family. So, Zach, I just want to take this opportunity to thank you once again. It meant a great deal to Anna and I that you came out and helped host our event, lead the vow renewal, and also, thank
you, Zach. It was great to see you.
Hi, Anna.
That was Dr. Peppard.
Folks, she was not in the room.
She just ran in here and said that.
A door flies open. It's incredible. Love this energy.
Also have to thank you for the amazing wedding present, which was an Alan Davis Nightcrawler bust. That was unexpected and really cool. So thank you.
No problem. I had it sitting in my office for like a month, and I would look at it from time to time and be like, yeah, this is good. I like this. This could be on my wall, but I'm a good person.
So, folks, if you want to follow on social, Adam Reck on Blue Sky and Instagram. Zach, we don't really know what we're doing next week, do we?
Oh, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
Oh, right, we do. What are we doing next week, Zach?
Folks, we're doing Wolverine. And here's the thing. We're doing a whole Wolverine perfect bound, like, extravaganza. We're going to get deep into the 90s comics that you felt were almost real books. But not the one about the Jungle Adventure, because we did that years ago.
There's so many, Zach.
There's so many. Until then, folks, this has been Battle of the Atom. We hope you survived the experience.
Get it!